someone else's computer. All right.
Hey,
Hi.
Hi, Joy.
How is everybody?
We're here. We're good.
Here, we're good. Alive.
Squire went on mute.
All right. Where are we? Did we just start? What did I miss?
Well,
We're
we've been
live.
recording. We've been recording for the last 35 seconds, so this will be
Excellent.
a fun cold open for.
Oh, I lost a screen share. Where'd that go?
Where did?
I lost my second screen. I apologize, everybody. I'm gonna have to try this again here. Give me 1 second to share, and then I'll get back to it.
We're losing all the things.
All right, who's got a good joke? Anyone? 4th of July jokes? No? I don't know.
Okay, I got a joke. I got a
Oh.
joke.
Okay.
Okay. What do you call a Mexican guy with a rubber toe?
Recording in progress.
Yeah, recording in progress, Carlos.
Lines together.
Rubber toe.
There
Fine,
it
rubber
is.
toe. Fine, rubber toe. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Whew. I had no idea where that was going.
For
Come
anybody
on,
who's
trust
joining
me.
for the first time, I promise we're going to try not to derail too much, but this isn't off to an awesome start.
been
we
it's been a
normally do
rough day.
better.
Rough day. All right, I think I'm back on track. Everybody can hear me, everybody can see me, and I will try to stay on task from here on. All right,
All the things.
So, welcome to the July 9th episode of MVP Office Hours. It is great to see you all. I hope you had a nice couple weeks off. If you celebrated the Independence holiday, I hope you enjoyed that as well. Let's jump right in. A couple upcoming events in the next few weeks. No, I shouldn't say few weeks because it's going to be September-ish. Pakistan Dreaming, Oaktown Dreaming, Tahoe and Florida are coming, but most importantly, maybe not most importantly, but very important, Dreamforce in San Fran, New York, London, Paris, and a virtual instance is coming middle of September. So mark your calendars. Otherwise, all of our event links are the same that they always are. So I'll save time there. And before I forget, so I already did again, why don't we welcome all of the hosts. I'm Squire Kirshner. We got Dale Ziegler and Joy Shutters helping. You can see our Twitter handles and our MVP Office Hours email there on the page. If you've got questions, concerns, problems, or just need a hand, we're happy to help with all those possible things. Sure, close enough. Having some problems here, everybody. I'm sorry about that. All right, let's jump in. As most of us know, we meet on the first and third Friday of the month, except for this month due to the holiday. We'll be coming up on the 23rd of July, and then we'll be back to the first and third in August. So keep those calendars marked. Our Twitter handle is there, but don't forget that there's also MVP Office Hours Portuguese, and our friend and compatriot Carlos is on. Anything you want to throw out there, Carlos?
No, just thanks for the shout out. It's the last Thursday of the month, and you don't need to speak Portuguese. Any language is welcome because I try to translate from Portuguese, Spanish back to English, and we have people from all over, so everybody's welcome.
Thank you, sir. Just a reminder, the rules of the call. Everyone participates. This is a collaborative opportunity for everyone to share what they know and ask questions and give feedback. Raise your hand if you've got something you want to offer, or raise your hand or comment in the chat if you've got a question. We'll get to you as soon as possible. Use whatever resources you need to, but most importantly, remember that we are recording even that garbage at the beginning of this call. And so if you don't want to have anything you're showing be displayed in the recording, or you don't want to be recorded, unfortunately that's part of the rules, so keep that in mind. And when you're not sharing, please stay on mute. Remember, we're all in this together, so pipe up and help out wherever you can. Let's see here, quick look see. MVPs on the call. hands. I see 4 on camera. What have we got in the darkness here? Anybody?
We have a light,
No.
we have a light group today.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
The off schedule maybe caused some problems. So, or we'll have some late attendees.
It's a short week for a lot of people. Maybe they couldn't take
Right.
the time away.
That's very likely. But that's okay, because a small group means we'll get to more questions, and hopefully we can all get something out of this. But remember that for joining, you're all the MVPs here, so don't hold back. The links haven't grown in a while, but we will keep adding links to our Hall of Fame as necessary. The order of execution came up again in a conversation just recently for me, so it's one of my favorite links. And Mandela effect continues to be a topic. So, all right. So, having said that, we did have a couple questions come into the success group as well as emails, and I think probably what makes the most sense here would be just a quick call out. We had a question a couple weeks ago about the ref ID in new emails. I think was that Amanda. Don't remember off the top of my head. But Nupur posted in the release readiness, and Dale was kind enough to copy that post to our group, referencing that there's an enhancement coming that's now going to be postponed to winter 22 that has direct correlation to that. So we'll keep an eye on that, and hope that'll help if that issue continues to persist. And then I believe, oh, I lost my chat because of the earlier shenanigans. There was it Todd had a follow-up from an earlier question he just wanted to touch on?
I do.
Why don't we jump to that really quick, just because it's kind of closing the loop on a conversation we've had in the past, right?
Yep. So I asked
Cool.
about the Edge network, I think during our last session, and no one really knew anything about it. It's supposed to optimize, basically make things faster. So I thought, what the heck? I did some more reading and I just enabled it in test last Friday, a week ago. Didn't think about it. Came in Monday morning, couldn't log into my test sandbox. Got a big screen, full screen message, and the only thing that gave me a clue was in about 8-point font at the bottom of the screen in light gray. It says this message produced from the Edge network. So support's working on it. They've got me up and running again. They had me up and running that day. They just disabled it from their side, but they've had engineering involved. Apparently they found an edge case or something that I hit. So they're checking a few other things, but I'm up and running on the Edge network in my test sandbox right now. If I get up the guts to take it to prod, I'll let you know how it goes.
He'll be on the cutting edge of things.
An edge case. Oh my gosh. Whew.
That's all I have.
I
Well
like
done.
it.
Well done.
Hi,
Dale.
Sarah.
And Todd. All right, thank you, Todd, for throwing that out there, and keep us posted. I'm sure more people will be interested. We had 3 questions in success. The first one from Mike about a way to limit opportunity create to persons on the account team. Mike, are you on today?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, let's hear more. I didn't want to paste the entire thing. There's a lot more detail than what I put in the slide. So give us the rundown.
Well, I'll try to back it up and keep it kind of simple, but using, let me back up. Let's start from the beginning. The account object is public read. The opportunity object is private, and that works wonders to keep reps from looking into finding out about opportunities where they shouldn't be sticking their noses, because it was done for to stop some poaching that they claim was going on.
Mm.
But in my understanding, and that's how it's supposed to work. If you're not in the account team, you can't see the opportunities, and that's nice. But there's another aspect of this that I may not be in the account team, and I may be in Seattle, and I want to write an opportunity on Coca-Cola in Atlanta. I can go to the opportunity object, create an opportunity, and tie it to that account willy-nilly. And that just seems like a little gap in security. Am I missing something?
No, it's context hasn't been created. This is probably part of order of execution, buried deep in there, but especially then with account teams being able to determine if you are or not on the account team. An opportunity being created from scratch gets created potentially before it then says, oh crap, you're not on the account team. Joy is dancing and raising her hand and probably going to tell me I'm wrong on that one.
Oh, no.
Probably very likely am.
I'm just thinking of ways to limit this, right? And part of it is going to, in my mind, like this thing that I have going is like a training issue, right? Shifting them so that they can only create opportunities from their account, right? And so that account, it's got to go through the account, but that's public. So that doesn't even help us there.
Yeah, how does accounting help you if it's not controlling access to the account?
They're public. Accounts are public. They just can't, they can't interfere with the opportunities, or duplicate and clone an opportunity, or like stick their nose in an opportunity, or get further along in the same opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm asking is usually account team, well, no, I shouldn't say usually. Often I see account team controlling access to the account itself, which is why it works. But if you've got account teams and public accounts, it doesn't really do anything in that space, right?
Well, account teams extends security to contacts, cases, and opportunities.
Right.
Not just the account.
True.
So kind of piggybacking on Joy's training or potentially configuring the interface to not put new buttons wherever they need to be, have you considered potentially a screen flow, which would then allow you to leverage is the running user part of the account team? If yes, great, go create it. If no,
Yes, long before I got to Epic, my question really is, we seem to be in agreement. That's the way Salesforce intends it to be. And to your point, somebody before me, wrote an Apex class that when the new button is pushed on the opportunity, before it creates that record, this Apex class looks at the account team records for that user. And it also looks at that user and the user profile and says, if you are neither on the account team or you are this sales profile, I will not let you make the opportunity. So that was the workaround, but
it's messy.
Messy,
yeah.
Because it's been years since we updated that list of profiles because we didn't know it was there. But that is how it's supposed to work. That's really my question.
I like the flow. Take away their new buttons. Take away the new and then if you only allow opportunities to be created from the account flow button that you would put there, take away the new buttons that are everywhere else, the global, you can kind of move into that. That was, I had a similar situation at one point where we had people that would create opportunities without the account. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Or they would just change the opportunities account based on what they felt like. And I was like, but that was for something else. You can't just change it because that one's closed lost. And now you're going to go do this with this other account. You can't just move opportunities. But I like the flow. Dale, I like that.
Yeah. Or another thought, Mike, are you in Lightning or Classic?
We're in Lightning.
Can you leverage account team membership in filters on Lightning record pages? Because you can make components dynamically visible based on certain filterable criteria. Is the ability, do you potentially shift the interface towards, you create an opportunity like in a side nav or something, and creating that opportunity then only appears if it detects that you're a member of the account team, which would then get you out of having to do a flow. Even though it's declarative, it's still custom, and get you closer to core. And then back to Joy's point about, you could create the opportunity to change the account, a validation rule of, no, you can't change the account.
Yeah. And we have that rule.
Okay. Yeah.
But I like the thinking. Thank you.
Yeah.
If I could just jump in really quick, I just want to clarify something that I thought I heard you say, but I just want to make sure we're speaking the same language. So you kind of like tongue in cheek said, that's the way Salesforce wants it to work.
And well, yeah, yeah, which is to say the same thing differently. You know, I have not missed something in the security model. This is how Salesforce works, where the account team memberships can control visibility to the opportunities. But when a profile has create opportunity, it means create opportunity, and it's not easily restricted.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the most important thing I wanted to touch on is just you know this, but I want to say it, right? Like, to clarify, you don't permissions grant access, not restrict access. And so right now you've got permissions too far open, which is what's happening, not the other way around. I mean, I know you know that, but so I mean, I'm wondering. So to my earlier comment, and Dale did correct me, you can control access to account by account team if your accounts aren't fully public.
Right.
Yes.
And that would be the way that what you really want the outcome to be, right? I can't even see the account to create the opportunity unless I'm on the team. But obviously that creates its own process problems, and we deal with that all the time too. So I think what you've now come up with is the solution is great, because the understanding, like, here's what our security model is granting access to. So our way to work around that is by restricting a process step. And I would even go as far as that you could even do one other thing, which is, I want to ask the question, can a user, how do I want to say this? Is a user supposed to be able to create it, or would they ever be able to create one of these when they're not on the team? Like, is there an exception? Is there ever an exception? Or, okay. So, you know, another option could be more of like an approval process. Not a real approval process, but you could do something like, when an opportunity is created, at save, go, is this person on the account team? If yes, don't do anything. If no, send an email to management or an approver or a steward to say, no, Square just tried to create an account on the Atlanta Coca-Cola account. He's probably not supposed to do that. You need to verify it's okay. Now you've got the freedom of the users to do what they want to do, but you've got a purview to help the process be clean. So just another idea.
And that's simple enough for me, so I like it.
So. Okay. But not an approval process. Don't do that. All right, thanks. I just wanted to ramble a little bit. I feel value now, so thank you.
Ramble on, Squire. Ramble on.
It's one of those weird kind of hopscotchy kind of problems that you have, because, like, okay, I'm going to step one step further. Oh crap, that's too far. But you can't get like a halfway. You can't step on the line. You got to jump into the next box.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Darn public.
The problem is not public. The problem is sales. The problem is always sales.
Well, I think the problem is that sales is like water. They get through the shortest distance as fast as they can, and so it's not that they don't want to follow rules. They just want to get paid.
Yeah,
I heard you say the problem was sales.
No, the problem is the holes in your bucket. So
sales finds.
They are the best QA, right? I mean,
that's true. We'll give them
they're the best. They find the button that they're not supposed to touch. It's awesome. Okay, so who's next?
I have a quick question on this topic. Would dynamic actions help with this at all? I was getting ready to try that just before we started this session, because I've had a similar request. Don't allow an opportunity to be created except by the account owner.
So with account owner, potentially the sticky wicket with account team is that it is a child object that is not a master detail to be able to leverage any kind of elegant roll up or anything like that. Gotcha. You may be okay, Todd, with account owner because it's directly on the object.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten it's not in direct line there. It's related.
Right.
The team is.
Well, and account pick a team object, account, case, opportunity, and it's tricky. Comes with a lot of power, but comes with a lot of limitations.
Thank you.
So just a little side conversation. One of the things we implemented along that, because of that reason that there's not a master detail relationship, we put a flag on the account team that is a formula that just says, am I this member? And then we can do a quick pull and a flow for anything where that checkbox is true. And if it's true that
Mhm.
I'm on the team, and then you can run your flow, it's a little bit like we took a step too far, but what you now have the ability is anywhere at all, you can just say, am I in this list? And then the checkbox is on. If I'm in the list, you can use it again and again and again. It's handy, and especially if you're using a flow to validate something, or maybe it I probably wouldn't work with the button, but it's handy. So sorry, Joseph K thought he found a bug. I'm not sure if Joseph's on today. Doesn't look like it.
I think that's been happening forever. Because the like if the subject is changed, Salesforce just reads it as a new
Yeah.
And that's been happening for as long as I know, as long as I've been using cases. And it's a challenge.
Yeah,
But I think
good.
I think the reference ID and the subject line are actually both taken into consideration, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Working per design, but not a great design. Is that how we're summarizing that?
I think it's like a hidden validation, like that the reference ID is, and that it's not because if you think about it, like if you're just going back and forth with customer service, you're not changing that subject line. But if all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have this other issue. So it's like an offshoot or a child object or a child, related or unrelated, case, then you change the subject line and just reply. And that's why it creates a new case, because people do that all the time. They close their case and then they reply to it again and it opens the case, or they change the subject and it creates a new case. So I think it sucks. I'm very technical today. Sorry.
Summed up nicely.
I can't. I just can't. I can't do this today. It's great.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. If Joseph joins us later today or on another call, we'll come back to it. But we're, I think, next into the chat. And Ernesto had a question.
4 types of users, Ernesto. Are you still
Hello.
on? Yay.
Hi, guys. Sorry, my questions are always not how to do something, but how to organize it, really,
Okay.
which is a big part of my things to do. So I'm trying to wrap my head around things because I have, my Salesforce says about 20 useless apps created in there. And I want to say 20 to not say 45. Because
Okay,
the rest
you're
are
in
just
a safe place. You're in a safe place.
the rest are just not visible.
It's recorded, but you're in a safe place.
Right. It's going to be posted everywhere, but you're safe. But yeah, so basically, obviously the user doesn't see all the apps. So in that world, it's a little bit better. So I'm running into the issue where the 2 licenses really that we use are, what I call the platform, which is the one that doesn't give you access to career opportunities and things like that. And then the 4 license, the Salesforce 4 license that you can do whatever you want. Those are the 2 kind of licenses we really use. Then we have obviously, the profiles and the permissions and all that kind of stuff. But the problem that I run into is when I give somebody new access to Salesforce and they're the platform license, they get this packaging, it's called packaging app, that it's basically a classic app. So they can't modify the menu, the navigation bar on top. They can't really do anything. And now I know that I have to assign defaults to the groups and stuff. But I'm trying to say, okay, well, how do I get this right versus just creating things and assigning defaults? And I was trying to figure out, okay, if I'm a marketing user, I need to see all of these things. If I'm a sales, I need to see all of these other things. So how do you guys organize it? What do you think I should do since I have 4 different kinds? And, obviously marketing and sales have the 4 license, and the innovation operations that have the custom, the platform license. So I'm thinking maybe I can create an app for each team each group? Or do I create one app for everyone and they just see what they can see? How do I go about it? If that makes sense.
There's a lot of great conversation here. I can see everybody chomping at the bit to respond.
Yes.
Who wants to start? Joy wants to
Okay.
start. She can't wait.
Okay. So I think there's a couple of ways to approach this, and you have like approached this by category, right? For an app for each department, if you will,
Sure.
right? You can do that, or you can work with your team to understand how apps work, and so that they can actually switch their purview per what their task is. And so there's different ways to approach it. And Dale and Squire and Sarah, all of you, you can like just tell me I'm nuts, but I think it really depends on the scalability of your team and how you want to maintain this. Because if someone's working on campaigns and they're in marketing, great. But if someone works on campaigns and they're not in marketing, how do they see campaigns?
Right.
And so I think you can either teach them to use apps and like move around per their tasking, or you just need to have everything possibly available to sales that they're ever going to need, like all of it, right? So there's that. But
let's make it a little bit more focused. I guess I don't want them to switch apps.
Okay.
Because I think it's less user friendly, and a lot of people don't. The people, they kind of see it in a way of just give me the things that I need to do in one screen, where I can just click and go, versus now I have to switch app.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
like I hear what you're saying, Ernesto. Lightning definitely put a huge burden on the admin team when it comes to apps and experiences, because now you can align a Lightning record page, for example, with an app, with a profile, with the form factor, all those kinds of things. So it's more overhead, more technical debt, to be honest. Whereas in Classic, you got an app, you got your tabs.
That's it.
Show the page by profile. That was it. It was might have been limiting, but it wasn't a lot to manage.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joy mentioned, a little bit of talking to your users and finding out what it is exactly that they need. And then I think you're looking at kind of a big Venn diagram to figure out how much overlap is there versus how much disparity. That's going to help guide you towards the answer of, is it multiple apps because marketing is doing A, B, C, and D, sales is doing C, D, E, and F, operations is way out here and X, Y, and Z. To figure out, like, do you need to create a set number of apps with specific tabs, or can you potentially introduce an app for multiple teams? But then also, I would say incorporating into training that just because you don't see a tab across the top doesn't mean you can't go to the waffle
or the global search,
or global search, or whatever your path into that information is. But the app is supposed to be a foundational starting point as much as possible. It may not solve all the world's problems, but then at least it's a starting point.
One of the ways I would like dissect sales is you might have like prospecting as like their focus. And so they've got their leads and their campaigns and stuff available, and reports and dashboards. And then if they're actually selling, you're looking at accounts, contacts, and opportunities. And if they're servicing, right, and onboarding and whatnot, maybe it's the accounts and the contacts and cases, or any custom objects that would apply to that. But I think I really like the way you're headed, Dale, but Ernesto, it's ultimately up to you.
Right. No, yeah, I just kind of like from people from experience.
Sarah is so right. There's also a console app style, which is super duper for prospecting, for instance. And I think that's also something to look at, because that would be a reason to have duplicate apps, essentially. You've got app A and app A console, so that they can choose. And then, there's your mobile. There's the mobile stuff, so don't forget.
I hate to always be the poo-pooer, but I feel like these are great solutions, but they're very short-sighted. And what I mean by that is you can just assign all the tabs on a persona by persona basis. But what happens when you've got 20, 30, 40 objects to do the job? Like, it works great when you've got 4 or 5, but it's not scalable. And so I would say that everything up until I started talking makes perfect sense. But I think that there's also a thought about the scalable solution might require an app and a user changing apps for whatever their role is. But the other option that we've started doing is we've created a baseline, we call it minimal access profile. That's either a platform or a full license. We use those same terminologies and stuff. And then we have a permission set that represents the app, the objects, and the access for each of those personas. So if Joy needs to do sales and marketing, she gets those 2 permission sets, and by definition, then she gets the app and the kind of the box, as well as then the freedom to say, well, because marketing gave her campaign and sales gave her opportunity, if she wants to modify her own nav and put them both into one app, she's got that control. But I know as the admin what she's supposed to have because of these unique boxes of permissions. So I feel like Dale's comment about that Venn diagram. I think there's a persona Venn diagram that represents the objects that are needed and the user experience, and where those start to overlap, you're going to start to see, like, yeah, they're going to have to start using the waffle and change apps and just be okay with it. Or this is going to work. Our long-term roadmap is only going to require 3 objects, and so we can have just one experience and deal with that, and my admins or the next admin that comes along can figure this out. So
Yeah.
I think that the summary is be thoughtful about not only right now, but 5 years down the road, is this going to be sustainable? Because it might be more work then to undo it than it would be to do it differently now. I was going to say right. There's no right answer. Differently now.
Yeah, I think I like what you said about the baseline portion of it. Because yeah, we do permissions also that give access to other things. So maybe that's what I will do, is just create a baseline where everybody goes to, and then the extra permissions. Yeah, and then maybe an extra app.
And that is not something I would say is an easy process. I mean, the slow, steady rollout. I mean, it's taken us over a year just to get 2 of our 13 apps into that format, because we're really making sure that no one is caught with, why can't I do this thing anymore? And you're trying to reverse engineer something you deployed. But I think if you start planning it, you're going to see the right answer for your business use cases now and in the future.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Good luck.
Squire, I actually did a similar switcheroo on profile. Like, there was the export reports was like wild. It was everywhere. And we actually removed it from everyone's profile and replaced it with a permission set for the right people.
We have delete for all records in its own permission set. So we know exactly who has the rights to delete each thing. Yep. And it allows us to really have a solid data steward mentality of, we know that no one accidentally deleted it and 16 days later is looking for it, because they have to go through this step. So it gives us some good controls, and it keeps people from accidentally merging the wrong stuff too, so, which was also its own little problem. Love permission sets.
I love merging. I love merging. It's my favorite.
Totally not looking at sales at all.
There it is.
Oh, merging accounts, merging contacts, fun times, fun times, fun times. What else we got?
So the queue is empty, and I didn't see anything else in email when I was skimming through. So the door is open for anyone who joined who might have a question or a observation or a quirky anecdote or a dad joke.
I got a question.
All right.
Oh no.
It's serious. Have faith.
Okay.
So working with a client that we're migrating over customer communities from an old org to a new org, and we're using contacts, multiple accounts. So the account contact relation object. And we are of the mindset that if a contact gets related to multiple accounts and that contact is a community user, it should automatically open up access to whatever we say is related to those additional accounts. However, as we're diving into current state in the legacy org, it's all managed in Apex. Really trying to, like, we really obviously want to do this out of the box and with native functionality, but questioning why it would have been coded up.
Oh, Squire, come on. Come on.
I'm processing. So I assume contact is set to be based on parent. It's not, we don't have private contacts, do we?
But
Yeah, they are private.
Okay, so that's probably the first part, is that there was probably some manual change for Apex.
They were public in the legacy org. They're going to be private in the new org. We found code in the old org where it was a public sharing model.
All right, so let's see here. Boy, I have to look at the code. So the next step is that those community contacts have that weird, I'm a contact, but I'm also a user relationship. Is there something there?
Oh.
Right, because like you actually end up creating that community user record from an actual contact tied to an account. And I'm wondering if there was some sort of like backdoor share, because maybe it wasn't, like maybe the role hierarchy was wrong or something.
Yeah, that's probably.
I'm trying to remember. There's that weird secondary role hierarchy that's specific to community.
Yep.
That says, what can I see? And that's all I can think of, is someone either didn't know what they were doing and, well, we're just going to manually share these things, or they had to have a workaround for something.
They knew exactly what they were doing because of a limitation.
Ah.
Okay, that's probably it. I'll take that back to my tech lead.
Now, I'm going back to the original use case, though. I thought the primary relationship was the only sharing relationship when you use that multi-relate. Is that still true? So like if
I haven't found anything in help and training or dev.salesforce or anything that addresses expanding access to community users with the account contact relation object.
Because my thought would be that you if again, just big assumption, but if my contact has been multi-related to multiple accounts, it would be a security risk for me to have access to all those accounts. I should only have access to my primary. So I'm really nervous now, because we've been talking about our own project using that same model. And if it grants access to everything they've ever been connected to, now I got to put the brakes on. So if you learn anything, please share.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this community is, it's primarily, for now at least, cases, knowledge, and a custom object, a standalone custom object. But what's interesting with the whole user versus contact thing is when you're looking at cases in a community, my cases pivots off the contact ID field, not the owner field, which means there has to be something in there that allows you to hop over to the contact object that theoretically then, if you are, if you're related to multiple accounts and you have cases in those multiple accounts, okay, maybe you can't see everything about the account, but you definitely should get your cases.
But should you be able to see an account where you're not, that's not your primary account? I mean, for some people that have like a leg in two companies, like, you know, they're two part-time jobs, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. It would make sense. However, that's not going to be one, it's not going to be the same community. So I don't know. It's weird.
That's where, like, it feels like it's defying logic of a relational database, that you can get to the children, but you can't get to the parents. And I know that sounded super creepy, but I mean, I'll bring up a non-creepy example then. It's like when kids in schools started getting devices, like iPads and MacBooks and everything, they had to create Apple accounts because it was through school. the districts own the IDs, not the parents. The parents have no right to get into the kids' Apple IDs through school. That's kind of how this is. You can get to your cases, but you can't get to your parent account. It doesn't logically, common sense logically make sense, but maybe systematically, logically, it does. I don't know.
There is a good half hour of reading that I want to do after this call about account relationship sharing rules in the documentation. I'm sure you've been through it, but I'm really curious about a lot of this.
If you uncover it, please send it over, because I'm kind of banging my head about it.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm sure there's going to be a second tier. Oh, here we go. You shared account records in your Experience Cloud site during account relationships. Okay, so it looks like it might not answer your question, but it looks like there's some documentation that now I want to read. So yeah, I will definitely read and respond. So
okay, thank you.
No one wants to watch me read it now, I'm sure. Good question. So man. All right. Anyone else have a quandary, a challenge?
I started looking at the design cert.
Nice.
Very exciting. I love it. I really want to do it, and I'm halfway through a different one, and I'm tempted to put it on pause.
That initial badge, and I think I just posted on Twitter that I finished the badge. I was surprisingly, I sailed through it, and I was like, oh, that's strange. I didn't realize I had that knowledge in my head. So
tell me, what is the core knowledge that goes into that?
Personas is hugely part of it. What was another theme was like inclusion, and my brain doesn't work like that, Dale. Go to the badge. Go to the badge. Don't go to Trailhead.
Gotcha.
I think it's really more about theory than technical application, right? Like it's more like, why are you designing what you're designing so that the user is going to be happy, and like the right kind of thought process to make sure you're answering those questions. I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, Joy, but like as a consultant, you're like, as you're reading it, you're like, duh.
Right. It's more about like how the thing feels in your hand versus, or, you know, when you use it versus what business problem it's solving for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, does the phone fit in your hand? Like my kids like make fun of me. They're like, Mom, why'd you get the smaller phone? Why'd you get the better camera than me? I was like, because I wanted the smaller phone that fit in my hand, so my thumb could reach across the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my daughter, her hands are smaller than mine. She's like, well, just use two. I go, no, I'm not using two hands. I'm not holding like this giant thing. And so it's really like usability and how it can fit for everybody. And one of the things that popped up that I was like, oh yeah, of course, like screen readers, and you know, something that I tuned into because of some coworkers with like they had some color blindness issues or color challenges, and so okay, we like worked that out for them. But if you don't have that at top of mind, you're like, oh yeah, for a screen reader, this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But you know, and that sort of stuff. And there's about how you talk to people about iterations and, you know, figuring it all out. I'm really excited about it. A friend of mine from high school actually works on the design team at Salesforce and has been doing some amazing work with this. And so I'm excited to see this kick off. I should grab that badge and put it in I should grab that somewhere. I'll put it in the chat because I was really excited about it. I've been putting it off, so.
Right.
So yeah, I want to take a run at it before September.
Yeah.
The badge is called Prepare for Your UX Designer Credential. And it's different because it's got some functionality in it. Oh wait, that's the trail. I don't need the whole trail. UX research basics, UX personas, storytelling, branded mobile apps, lightning experience. Holy cow. relationship design. There's so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I looked at the certification prep badge for that. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. That's what I've got up on the screen right now. This is all the pieces by module. So, yeah. I mean, I think the only one that I was a little bit surprised by was that section on design system. It just seems kind of out of the blue in comparison to the rest of it. Design systems always seems more of a web dev type skill set, and the rest of it seems like you might not have to know anything about code. So I when you got to that section, Joy, did you see any difference there?
You know what, that cert prep badge, it wasn't as big, right?
Okay.
And the thing is, let's see if I can share my screen.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to drop this in the chat too, because this is what I went through, and I felt much better about it. Share screen. Yeah, which one? Haha. There it is. All right. So share. All right. So what was really neat about this, can you guys see that what I'm looking at? It's all blocked for me. I'm like trying to see it.
Yep.
There's this really cool function. Of course, it's on the next one. Sorry. That I hadn't seen before. And it's like these exam practice questions, and where you actually get these things, you answer it, whatever, and you submit to have it check, and it tells you, and then you pick whatever and it tells you or whatever. And because I didn't read the question, I have no idea, but it's like a flashcard kind of practice test question. This is not the Trailhead badge questions. And then you go to the next question. Super cool, right? And it's like, what is the best research method to help understand what people do? And you pick out your thing and submit. And when you go through it, it says, if you had a problem with the wrong answer, look at these scenarios, figure these things out, and this is what you need to dig into. So this is a really great like preparation for the stuff. And then the flashcards, I think, Squire, you're talking about, like, you just, hey, click, 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 and like practice what they are, and you go to the next one and click, click, click. And I thought it was a really great new way to, I guess, like expand on the learning experience. So I was really excited about it.
So
Yeah,
Sarah
the other one-
commented that cert prep modules, or all of them got that recently.
Of course, I
This
didn't
is-
notice that because this is the first cert
Well,
prep
no,
I've looked
no,
at in a
this-
long time.
The cynical side in me wonders why the push for that, because Salesforce has always guarded certifications so closely.
Well,
that-
I think it's like these questions aren't necessarily the questions that are on the test. They just might give you a better idea of what's going into it. Because I think there's a lot of folks that are like, I'm so scared to take this test. $200 is a lot of money. And it is, right?
But even that's a lot more than they ever gave in the past. Of what do our questions even smell like? So like,
It's interesting. Like
Well,
if you
and
were,
also the tile thing I was referencing, in a couple of the cert exams, they have this like a big grid and like 6 boxes of answers and 6 boxes of questions, and you kind of move them around to line up, but like almost like the flashcard times like 5. And I think that these cert exams, to your question, Dale, it's more about like, oh, you're really preparing. Here's some deeper questions to make sure you really understand the content of this module, rather than just getting the badge. It's more like it's literally applicable stuff. So I mean, I don't think it's as much about the exam questions themselves as much as really giving you what you need to.
right. No, I get that. It's
Okay.
it's just I'm surprised to see that they've unveiled any part of anything that could be closely aligned to certification in Trailhead.
yeah, I agree. Because I was like, whoa, someone could seriously like just pull these questions and these definitions and then like, all right, I got it. I got 12% memorized. I'm ready.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I would put money on this not being a direct correlation of exactly what's on the exam.
Right, absolutely.
And and it's going to be enough that it'd trip you up if you didn't understand the concepts.
Right.
That's what it's going to be. like the quantitative and qualitative, if you don't know the difference between those and you're just like, oh, I know it's a Q thing, you're not going to figure it out. Right. For the question that's on the screen right now. Right. It's so that's my thoughts on it. You can tell them all, you can give people the answers and they're going to cheat, and people are going to ask for dumps and they're going to cheat, and it's going to make me crazy. But that's why people like Gene have a job.
Yeah.
Gene Valonis just making those tests harder and harder every release. Anything else?
Got a real quick one.
Yeah.
Please.
I just had a user bug me to see if I could give them permission. We're dealing with
System admin, right?
yeah, right. No, no way. They are sort of my like junior admin in training, but at any rate, we're dealing with having folks upload vaccination card images, and they want to be able to delete those. And I can't remember where for the life of me to give people permission to delete files. And I went to the permission set that I thought I had set up to do that, and I can't find it. It's not like the normal CRUD.
Right.
Yeah, I guess
I think
was
it's
under
in the
impression
setup.
that you could delete anything you own, but everything else has file by file requirements, not system
Yeah.
requirements.
A user with modify all can delete files not associated with another file or object, but only the file owner can delete a Salesforce file.
Okay.
Do you want the, I
Yeah.
I do Google searches. I mean,
That's good.
that's all I do.
Since I happened to be on the call, I was like, oh, I'll just ask these guys. But
Yeah. Sarah, you're funny. There's the link. Poof.
Great, thanks.
The files, I hate files.
Yeah.
Terrible. I worked for a company that had files and files, and they were scary, and there was a lot of personal information in those images, and I was like, oh my gosh, these have to go away. It's like, we shouldn't have these. No one should have access to this. What the heck? It's bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Julio.
So,
Nothing
way
else?
around that.
All right.
I do have a question, and I've been wanting to ask it for several times we've met, but I'm looking in general for what other admins are using for backup and recovery. So we're going down this path of the company documenting our processes, and we just really don't have a good one for Salesforce. And I'm curious what others are doing.
Own backup.
Yeah, we got
Is-
multiple
is
votes
it-
for own backup.
Was it okay? Because
Yeah.
they've been reaching out to me, and I didn't know if they were really the only player. I mean, since Salesforce made that announcement that they were no longer, a couple of years ago, when they weren't going to help with backup recovery, I've been telling management, I don't know what we're going to do, if something were to happen. So, okay, well, that's encouraging. I think I'm on the right path.
I have one more. It's called spanning.
Spanning backup.
Yeah, so I'm in between those two. Actually, we have to decide two very soon. But
And there's plenty of IT teams that would be like, oh, we'll just push it all into our own data lake.
right.
So,
Ugh.
but it's there. It's
The problem is the recovery of it. Just
Yeah.
not the storage and backing
Yeah.
up.
when you need it. Right. I
You
agree.
need it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the difference between the two that I saw is really the price, because one includes the seeding of the sandboxes and the other one doesn't. It's extra charge.
Mhm.
So if you get pricing for both, then you can decide which feature it's best for you. But on backup is probably the best.
Okay.
See,
Thank you.
Ernesto, you brought up something that, I can't speak to it. I just know it was a problem. I saw it was a problem as well. It's great to have a backup, but as
Yeah.
we went through the event a couple of years ago, it's the recovery that was out of my league. Restoring metadata. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak to it, but I know a bunch of people got really, really strung out on that project.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not that easy. You have to really spend time focused.
But
on
if
the
you
data
use
file.
something, if you use a like own backup, Does it make it easier?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's click of a button.
yeah, because
Versus you,
I don't ever need to worry about, someone deleted something they shouldn't, right? This is really for disaster. If for some reason we lost all our data, I need to be able to tell the business how we get it back,
Yep.
so. All right.
I'd also offer sometimes with the recovery conversation, the conversation is about how are we going to restore, and you kind of lose track of all the other things you can do with these types of tools by having it off the platform. Home Backup gives you access to query and like run reports and literally use the data like a warehouse as well as a recovery system. So I mean, expand your, like, as you're working through the why, add more to it, because I think that's one of the reasons why Home Backup is the big players, because they're like, not only do we implement quick and we restore fast, here's a whole bunch of other things you can do with our platform. Again, don't lose track of like the we just got to back it up. No, do more, right? Because I've seen people using Einstein Analytics with regular extracts and using the analytics snapshot to actually back up their own system. But that's really expensive. But the upside is you get all these cool reports and analytics things out of it. So don't lose track of that stuff too.
yeah, the biggest feature that I can see is that actually you can see what changed easily. If you don't have a backup, now you have to go actually look through the files and do a compare tool, kind of shut in the dark almost. Yeah, you have to find the IDs and all that, but it will take hours just to even look and find what happened and what changed versus a tool that you just click and tells you.
Yeah. Does that help?
Yes.
All
Thank you.
right. We're at time, Squire.
We are.
We're at time. So
Thank
we'll
you.
see everybody next time. What is it? What's the date of that? August? No,
23rd.
July 23rd. July 23rd. See you guys in a
Thank
couple.
you.
See you later.
Thank you, everyone. Stay in
Take
touch,
care.
stay healthy.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye.